Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. I'm Gerry, as I always am. Joining me today, I've got Thomas. Thomas is joining us from the Newcastle area. Give us some special local insight into all that hot stuff. So Thomas is with us, Terry's with us, Max is with us, and yeah, so we're rolling deep, if I'm allowed to say that, at being 40. Newcastle preview. Current form, they're 14th in the table, 31 points, 8, 7, and 14. Recently, they lost to West Ham 2-0, beat Burnley 2-0, and beat Huddersfield 2-0. But who isn't these days? Poor Huddersfield. That's not getting any better for them, I don't think. So I could go through possible starters, but I want to hear from Thomas first. Thomas, I'm sure you've got like Newcastle supporters. Just as soon as you walk out of the house, you bump into like 4 of them, I'm sure. How are they feeling about the squad right now, their team right now, Rafa, and their new signing, Miguel Almiron?
Oh, don't even get me started on Almiron. They're constantly talking about him. You know, he came in, he's completed a bunch of dribbles, some chances, but it's because the squad they had at the start of the season, it hasn't seemed like a Premier League squad for quite a while now. They're having to spend very little on players. You know, they've got all their problems with Mike Ashley, the owner, not really giving them much money, and the Rafa's, as much as I hate to say, he's doing ridiculously well with the squad that he's got. It's been the same for a few seasons now. They come in at the start of the season, nobody's really confident, seems like relegation, and then it's about this time of year, they did it last season as well, they seem to find some form, and now they're making their way up the table. But the thing is with Newcastle, it's the organisation that Rafa's got them into. They're definitely not. They couldn't beat many Premier League teams man for man, but it's the fact they're so organised, they're so drilled. Obviously, Rafa's quite a defensive manager while he's been at St James's, and it's the fact they do play as a team. There's far too many. Well, sometimes in our team there's far too many individuals, and you see less organisation. But in Newcastle, everyone's perfectly drilled. Their defence looks very good at the moment, but that's basically because, you know, if every player is defending, the team looks better in general. And that's basically how Rafa's set them up for quite a while now.
Yeah, I think recently they've been running that like 3 at the back with wingbacks.
It's very confusing that they've played Matt Ritchie at left wing back, who started as a right winger. I don't really know what they do. It's because they had Paul Dummett, he got injured. He was the only left back at the club. They brought in Barreca from Monaco, I think. Hasn't really done anything. I'm not sure where he is. And then Kennedy on loan from Chelsea. He hasn't been good enough this season. He probably won't be starting. He seemed like an absolute steal for them last season. They got him on loan again, and he just hasn't been great at all. They're not really best pleased with him at the moment, and he can be decent when playing further forwards, but he's definitely not a left wing back. So whenever Rafa's tried to play him there, he hasn't been happy, and he definitely hasn't been good at all. So they will probably be playing Matt Ritchie left wing back again, which I don't really understand, but it seems to be working for them. So
yeah, Kennedy's a player. I forgot he was there. That's ridiculous. No, because he had a good season last year, and he's a player I think we would have mentioned when it comes to danger men, because he looked solid for them last season. So it's just kind of weird. You mentioned him, and I was like, huh? Because I had totally, I'd forgotten. So I'll be really curious to see if he even gets any time, because I don't even know if he's been subbing in lately. It's really strange. I'm going to go off on the possible starters, and then I'll let Terry and Max kind of go off on some danger men. Dubravka in goal, you know, good keeper. Is it Fabian Schär? Is that who and Lascelles and Lejeune. There's their 3 kind of center backs. Manquillo and I guess Ritchie tends to play both those 2 wing back positions. In the middle, you might have Hayden and Ki Sung Young. Longstaff, does he play in the center as well?
He's injured though for this one.
Oh, he is injured? Okay.
Yeah, he's out for the rest of the season now. So.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
No wonder. Okay. Yeah, that sucks. Now I feel bad for mentioning him. Like, damn it. So Jose Perez, Miguel Almiron, Solomon Rondon. Terry and Max. Let's go with Terry to start, and then Max. Terry, which player makes you the most concerned as far as causing trouble for us?
Well, I would have said Longstaff because he looks all right, but it only come out today that he's got a pretty bad injury. I think it's knee ligament injury or something like that.
Oh,
but I'm gonna have to say Rondon. Seems like the obvious one, but he, big physical striker. Could bully centre backs, and although we've been a little bit better at the back in the last 2 games, it's the type of striker we don't like playing against. None of our centre backs like the physical sort of battle. Like, I mean, Gerry Mina and Jagielka do, but I don't think either of them are going to start. So Rondon, I worry whenever we come up against like big strong number 9s like that. He hasn't got a glittering goal scoring record, but usually you don't need one if you come up against Everton. You're actually in better shape if you need a goal if you come up against Everton. So probably say Rondon above everyone else. If you can't say Longstaff.
Okay, Max, who are you worried about?
Following on from Rondon, I'd probably say Matt Ritchie. I think they're both Newcastle's top assists this season. I think they both levelled 4 assists, and I think Rondon's got 7 goals this season. So as Teddy said, if not Rondon, I'd go for Ritchie. I've always thought of Ritchie as a really industrial player. Got a lot of power. But looking at this game, I've just doing a quick look up on the head-to-heads before I come on, and I think we're 6 unbeaten in our last games against Newcastle. I know if you look at the reverse fixture at Goodison, it seemed like all they went 1-0 up, and it seemed like all hands on deck, 11 men behind the ball. You'd expect the dynamic to be different. Obviously, it's St James's Park. However, I feel like we should be going into this full-blown confidence. We're expecting a win. We should be building off the positivity that we took from that derby draw. The positive that you can take from that, and with the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, West Ham, and these big home games coming up, 3 points here wouldn't go amiss, particularly if we do want to start, catching up on the likes of Wolves and whatnot.
Going into our long 17-day vacation, there was this feeling that when we played against these more top-tier sides, like top 6 sides, we would give them solid games. We'd give them a run, and we'd get some attempts on goal, usually coming up short. But we'd actually give them a good game. But we were having trouble with those teams that kind of were organized defensively. Newcastle was a problem for us. I remember being very frustrated watching that game. That we were just funneling everything to our outside backs who were just launching crosses in the middle, and they were just clearing it out every time. It was hard to watch. However, after the 17-day vacation, we started bringing a different type of attack. We started getting the ball to Sigurdsson more, and we actually started finding ways to actually start moving the attack a little bit more central and not always, bombing down the flank. So Thomas, I'll give you this one. Do you think that we're going to have a similar problem with them? Do you think these tweaks that Silva has made in personnel and with shape, do you think that's actually going to help us coming up in this one?
Well, Newcastle at the start of the season, their away form was much better than the home form because Rafa can get away with putting 11 men behind the ball away from home. But when they've been at home more, it's almost as if the fans are urging them to get forwards because you get a bit sick of it kind of defending. And I've seen them get caught out a fair few times. It was like against Wolves, it was a 93rd minute winner or something. Like, they keep at home, they get caught going forwards, and we have to be much sharper in attack. Well, we have been recently. I thought against Cardiff we were definitely putting together some good play, but before that game, I don't think we'd be coming in this game with much confidence, to be honest, because against a defensive team like Newcastle, you have to be sharp on attack. You have to be making every chance count, because when you're on the break, that's your best chance. That's when they're least organised. But when they're sat back, unless you're not even Manchester City. City struggled when they were at St James's as well. But you have to be accurate. You can't be sloppy passing. We've seen that too many times this season as well. And I think Cardiff was an interesting one. I think going into that, Cardiff also fairly defensive side, trying to not get relegated, but I think we looked very good. And Newcastle are a similar team. So I think if we had gone into the Cardiff game, not got the result we wanted, I think we'd be worried about this game. But I think we showed there our attacks are much better. In the derby, there were a few good moments, not too many particularly decent shots on target, but the attack is still looking good. And against the team, against Newcastle, if you can get an early goal, you're destined for 3 points, really. I know City, when they were at St James, they scored in like the first 30 seconds and lost 2-1 in the end. But it seems with Newcastle that you can't, if you let them into the game and if you let them get into their stride, then they're probably going to get at least a point in the end, if not 3. People always talk about the atmosphere at St James's, but it's similar to a Goodison, really. It can be your 12th man at time, but it can also be your worst enemy. You know, if the fans are getting on Newcastle's back and they are still defending in the 50th, 60th minute, that's when there'll be issues.
Ah, okay. That's interesting. You're right. Everybody does talk about the atmosphere there, and it can work against you, because I think we've seen it work against us at times. Max, Terry, you want to weigh in on our ability to break down, or you think that us rolling with Schneiderlin kind of covering the back is going to allow our guys to kind of go forward a little bit more and it'll be less of an issue?
I think the problem we had last game is we picked the entirely wrong lineup. They came to Goodison Park and we, as you say, Gerry whipping crosses in all night against 3 centre-backs who were just going to eat that up all day. And it was Cenk Tosun. He had one of his worst games for Everton that night. But I just, as you say, as Thomas says, I think we'll have a little bit more joy at their ground, because they're going to have to come out more eventually, whether they do it first or whether they do later in the game. And when we're playing like Calvert-Lewin, Bernard, I mean, it probably will be Walcott, but hopefully Richarlison after the second half. I mean, I'd prefer that. I'd prefer to start Richarlison over Walcott, but players with a little bit more pace who can possibly hit them on the break when they do have to venture out and try and pressure our defence. I think that probably would be the only change I'd make, though, is Richarlison for Walcott. I mean, I'm a big fan of Andre Gomez, and you know, not all is still not forgiven with Schneiderlin for me. It's a start, but I still am very much in the Andre Gomez camp. But after that performance against Liverpool, I think you have to roll with pretty much the same team and just try and exploit Newcastle when the crowd get on the back, which they will. If they're still sitting on their 18-yard box past the hour mark, past 70 minutes, they will have to come out, and that's when we should look to hurt them, I think, if not earlier, if we can't earlier.
So I think we're all in agreement. We all would want to start Bernard on the left, right, based on his performances recently. It's just a matter of whether or not Silva agrees, if he wants to, pace players on both sides in order to hit them on the break. But I feel like his system works better having a playmaker on one side and speed on the other when it comes to our forward players, you know what I mean, on the outside forward players. So I agree. I think it's going to be Walcott or Richarlison. I'm secretly thinking Richarlison based on last game, but who knows. Max, what are you thinking about that?
Yeah, just to add to what Thomas said about St James's Park, they're unbeaten in the last 3 there, so I'm sure they'll have the wind in their sails and they'll be full of confidence. I've actually been to St James's Park a good few years back. It was one of the worst away fans experiences I've ever had. But no, as I say, obviously they'll be coming into the full of confidence. They're a one-club city. They've got a huge community and cultural significance, but we're Everton. We're bigger than them. We should be looking to blow them out the water. Obviously they are going to pin them forward. As I said, confidence at home. However, like that point Terry's just made, pace players, and we've got to make full advantage of that. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I feel like there could be a game where he could maybe get on the scoreboard. Bernard can continue his form. Obviously Walcott's a point of contention, because as you say, he does provide the pace. It's just whether his touch is there that day, and as we've seen, he's not going through the best runs of form. So Richarlison would probably be the best replacement, and for me personally, yeah, I would roll with Richarlison on the right hand side.
Me too. So guys, we got to make some predictions here. All right, Max, you've had to go last on everything. You're going to go first now.
3-1 Everton.
3-1 Everton. Terry?
Snap. 3-1 Everton.
Snap. Thomas, what do you think, man?
2-0.
Snap 2-0 as well.
We're too
All
confident here. Way too confident. Can't wait to be humbled now.
Should I just say 5-0 Newcastle just to kind of undo some mojo here? So we are all picking two goal victories. That may be a problem, guys. Do I need to get my friend in the room over next to us to come in and go, you guys are going to lose by 10, because he will do that for us.
The kind of stuff that ends up in Twitter, it ends up in a tweet if you lose the match, and they all start sarcastically showing videos of you before the game.
Yeah, I will say I thought I was the only one that was going to be picking a two-goal victory. I thought I was going to be overly ambitious with that. So, yeah. It's just to let you know, Newcastle supporters, we know you've played well lately. Okay, so have we. So yeah. Plus, I don't think none of us are big fans of picking losses either. You know what I mean? We usually try to be pretty positive. I don't know. Sometimes Max is just like, we're gonna lose.
Yeah, sometimes I prefer to just be a realist, but I think a fire should be lit under us after that derby performance. Definitely.
Sometimes a realist delves into pessimism.
I'm an Evertonian.
It does.
I'm an Evertonian. I'm a pessimist by birth.
That's so fair. All right, gentlemen. So a bunch of 2-goal predictions, 2-goal win predictions. We're not liking that either, everybody. But you know what? We can't help it. This is just the way it shook out. So, all right. So I guess that's it for our Newcastle preview. Thomas, thank you you gave us a lot of good information there, and it's clear you actually know their squad nearly as well as you know ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much force-fed to you everywhere, I bet. So, by the way, going Gateshead sounds like it would be an amazing experience to go watch them play non-link match. The way you describe it to me, I'm just like, oh, that sounds great. Yeah, good luck. You're going to have to play that one at some point with the Football Manager as well. It's City. All right, so I guess that's it for our Newcastle preview. If you've been digging the videos, please subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel. We'd sincerely appreciate it. If you want more Terry, he's on the Liverpool Echo fan jury, so keep it on his Twitter. He'll tell you when he's going to be there. Max, he shows up in a lot of places too, so his Twitter will tell you where. A lot of times he's on the Toffee Blues website giving his analysis, and sometimes he's just winning, money in contests because he's smart and stuff. So lastly, Thomas has a series of Football Manager videos that can be found on this exact same channel, so what are the odds? So look for him there. You probably won't see his face, but it'll be his voice soothingly taking you through Football Manager season. Gentlemen, let's move on and start talking about our right back situation. Bye.